Good morning, everyone. I believe it is 11. I think we do have all of the board members here. Just checking with staff if we can go ahead and start the meeting.
Good morning.
Board Member Watts, let me double check. I'm looking for Chair Burke, for Jennifer Burke to log on.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure if I saw her, so thank you.
Okay, one moment.
All right, it looks like we have Director Burke. So I will call the meeting to order and ask Secretary Manis if you could do a roll call.
Thank you. Board Member Walsh,
Present.
Board Member Grable,
Here.
and Chair Watts.
Here.
Let the record show all subcommittee members are present.
Thank you. And just a reminder to all members to mute your phones and microphones when you are not speaking. All right, so we'll start by opening up for public comments on item 2, public comments on non-agenda items. So if you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. Or if you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Secretary Manis, do we have any live email or voicemail public comments at this time?
There are no public comments.
All right, great, thank you. So we will now take public comments on the minutes approval. So if you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Secretary Manis, do we have any public comments?
There are no public comments for the approval of the minutes.
Okay, great. So with that, I would ask that we approve the minutes without, unless there are any objections. All right. So now we will move on to item 4.1. Director Burke, could you introduce the item?
Thank you, Chair Watts and members of the subcommittee. Our first item is a proposed high-efficiency toilet rebate program. And Deb Lane, our sustainability representative, will be making the presentation.
Great. Thank you, Director Burke. Can you all see? Great. Well, good morning, Chair Watts and board members. I am happy to be here today to present on a new high efficiency toilet rebate. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background. We have had a number of previous toilet incentives. We've replaced over 50,000 toilets through different types of programs where the customer actually installed them. There was direct install that was installed by a plumbing contractor, or even a distribution program where customers picked up some free toilets. So why do another toilet rebate? Well, we really want to, we're looking to increase indoor water savings to meet regulatory requirements, SB 606 and AB 1668. and of course, the mandatory 20% drought reduction requirements that we're currently under. Staff have identified some strong customer interest in a toilet rebate, and we want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. There is embedded energy in water to move it, store it, and treat it. So reducing water usage reduces our greenhouse gas emissions. And you can see toilets are, by this graph, are really some of the low-hanging fruit in capturing water savings. So the details of this program will be that the existing toilet flush rate has to be 1.6 gallons per flush or greater. And the replacement toilet, we've opted for 2 tiers. Tier 1 would be replacing with a toilet that has 1.1 gallons per flush maximum. And then tier 2 would be going down to a 0.8 gallons per flush maximum. And the corresponding rebate would be $50 for tier 1 per toilet and $75 per toilet for tier 2. So all customer classes will be eligible for this rebate: commercial, industrial, institutional, multifamily residents, and single family residents. And why 2 tiers? Well, particularly with CII, the best practices recommend going no lower than 1.1 in most cases. Those facilities don't tend to have good drain line carry. You know, in a home, there's showers and dishwashers and kitchen sinks and others that other flow in the pipes, and there can be older infrastructures that don't also have good drain line carry. So it's the best practice to not go below that. And then also that does provide customers with some options to have 2 tiers. We are requiring a pre-inspection. Staff will verify that the existing toilets meet the eligibility criteria. And we're also going to be requiring that the high flow toilets that are being replaced are destroyed. So wanted to provide some water savings and cost estimates. With tier 1, we estimate, well, we'll be going from 1.6 to 1.1. That's about 1,095 gallons saved per toilet each year. Over 15 years, that would be 16,425 gallons. And for tier 2, we go up to 1,752 gallons by going from 1.6 to a 0.8, and that is 26,280 gallons. So looking at the rebate costs to Santa Rosa Water, when we take the water savings and each rebate amount and do the math up to the acre foot of water saved, it will cost Santa Rosa Water $992 per acre foot for tier 1 and $930 per acre foot for tier 2. So looking at that in terms of what we pay for purchasing water from Sonoma Water, we pay about $1,000 per acre foot. So you can see that each proposed rebate tier amount is slightly below that cost to purchase water from Sonoma Water. So it is cost effective. Just for a comparison of all of our other incentive programs, you can see where the toilet rebate stacks, and all of our programs are cost effective. The cash for grass is bumped up. As you probably know, we've increased the dollar amount we're paying per square foot to remove turf right now because of the drought and trying to get the water savings that we need. So in terms of funds, we have well over $400,000 budgeted for all of our indoor programs, and the rebate, each rebate will be split out of our indoor water and sewer capital improvement funds 50-50 evenly. All the rebates are available first come, first served, with the budget available. And then if approved, we would enact this rebate immediately. And the outreach will include social media, bill inserts, and information on our website. So it's recommended by the Water Department that the BPU Water Conservation Subcommittee approve the high efficiency toilet rebate as described. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to take those.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there board member questions? Board member Walsh?
Yes, thanks very much. And this one's pretty much in your wheelhouse and Chris's too. I was wondering, for folks that don't have a lot of money and live in smaller smaller houses or units, is there a way that we can stagger the services, like add a plumber install and take away, destroy the old toilet? Since if there's a square footage limit, like for instance, a unit 1,000 square foot or lower, or 1,400 square feet or lower, can we modify that program to stagger the benefits and give, say, like a higher benefit?
So Board Member Walsh, thank you for that question. One of the things that, so we do look at all of the rebate programs to make sure they're cost effective, and we want to make sure we have equal opportunity for everyone, right? To make sure it's a cost effective rebate from the ratepayer perspective and purchase versus what it costs us for Sonoma Water. What we are doing and hope to roll out before too long is we've actually been pursuing grant funding, and we have been told we're going to be receiving $1.5 million from the state, and we will be using that to launch a full direct install program. So that, and we're looking to target those customers that have either expressed interest before or areas where we've had a really hard time making some inroads and getting toilet replacement. And so we'll look at those that have, would be part of our H2O program or other opportunities where we can start targeting various customer groups. So that is coming. The state has awarded it to us. We just don't know when we're getting it. And as soon as we get it, then we'll roll that program out. So I don't know if that helps with some of the concerns that you have.
It certainly does. And so then the grant program would allow a direct install from a plumber, and so they can go in there. Is there any chance that we could have some plumbers sort of certified to actually do the pre-inspection, or do we need to go out ourselves? How, because I'm trying to think, what if somebody has to go in a house once, like somebody picks out a toilet, say Home Depot, they like this one, and a plumber picks it up and installs it. Would the grant provide something like that?
So typically what we'll do for the grant, and we're still looking at all of the options, but based on previous, because we've done direct install programs before, we typically decide on a toilet brand that we're going to install that meets all of our requirements. And that is the option for customers. So they'll get a toilet, shower head, and faucet aerators. They won't get necessarily choice, but if that's what they want, that's the package that we'll provide to them. We do have a few options depending on, there might be certain situations where we have to accommodate various things, but it's not go out and select your toilet and then we'll install it for you. It's, this is the package we have, completely free, and they do the whole program. So they go out, they make sure and remove all the old devices, replace with the new devices, and make sure the old devices are destroyed.
That's great. That's much better than what I would have come up with. And, I appreciate that. So they get some efficiency by installing the same thing a few times, and then they go for it. And then is there something where people that are renting units, for instance, they're going to have maybe a different motivation than let's say the landlord, or maybe even but different awareness, right? So if I'm renting and my water bill doesn't go up or down, I just keep pulling the handle and there goes 5 gallons, right? Or whatever it is. Are the landlords pretty much on top of this, the ones with a lot of units?
I'd say it just depends. Typically, it can be a complicated situation. So whether the tenant's paying the water bill or not, whether the landlord's paying it, are we talking about a single family residence or a multifamily residence? I'm typically in single family, the tenant does pay the water bill. We get into apartments, that can be a little more tricky. And so it's my job to actually get in touch with those owners and property owners and make sure that they know what's going on and show them the value of doing this.
Well, that's fantastic. And thank you for the presentation. It was great. And Chair Watts, that's all the questions I have.
Thank you. And just speaking from experience with the former direct install programs, they were really successful with the Help to Others program and being able to advertise and at the same time, Board Member Walsh. So that was actually heavily utilized by customers for H2O. And I think that if we, since we're going to be awarded this grant again, also looking at maybe targeting those landlords for low-income housing for doing updating their toilets would be probably helpful there too. But I can speak that program was heavily utilized, and I'm really glad that we're going to be getting funds for it. And I'm in full support of this rebate. Anything that we can do to encourage customers to become more efficient and provide financial incentive, I think is great.
Fantastic. Thank you, especially if the ones that were put in the, say, the early 90s, that became part of our 50,000. If we can get them again in the early 2020s, that'd be, thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Any other board member questions or comments?
No, I agree with everything that's been said. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we will open it up for public comments on item 4.1. So if you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Secretary Manis, do we have any public comments?
There are no public comments on this item.
All right, thank you. So I would ask for a motion to support the two new rebates of the 2 tiers.
I would like to make a motion. I move that the Water Department Conservation Subcommittee recommend to the full Board of Public Utilities Commission that we approve the high efficiency toilet rebate program as presented here today.
Second.
All right, great. We have a motion and a second. So can we take a vote?
Board Member Walsh,
Aye.
Board Member Grable,
All right.
Chair Watts.
Aye.
Let the record show that vote passed unanimously.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And we will now move on to item 4.2. Director Burke, if you will introduce that item.
Yes, thank you. Item 4.2, sorry, all my papers are getting mixed up here. Item 4.2 is our water use efficiency program and drought update. And Claire Nordley, our sustainability coordinator, will be making the presentation.
Good morning, Chair Watts and members of the board. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I think you all are seeing the full presentation. Great. So I am going to be providing an update on our latest drought activities. So as you all know, last year and the year before that were the 2 driest years on record in 128 years of record keeping. And so because of that, in July 2021, Santa Rosa instituted stage 3 of our water shortage contingency plan, which requested a 20% community-wide reduction in water use. As you all know, Lake Sonoma holds a multi-years of water supply storage, and current storage levels are at approximately 2 years worth of supply currently. In response to the statewide shortage, the State Water Resources Control Board adopted emergency regulations in June of this year. One of the emergency regulations requires that commercial, industrial, and institutional, or CII, non-functional turf is no longer allowed to be irrigated. There are some exceptions. So for example, if there's a tree planted in with the turf, that tree can still be watered, and therefore the turf around that tree would obviously still be watered. That enforcement authority does reside with the state board as well. Excuse me, but we have provided outreach to our customers, letting them know about this emergency regulation. We actually created posters and hung them in irrigation stores and in hardware stores locally. We also sent out letters to all of our dedicated irrigation meter customers. In addition to that emergency regulation, the state board is requiring that all urban water suppliers implement conservation actions in their water shortage contingency plan that correspond with a level 2 shortage, or a 10 to 20% reduction. Santa Rosa had already adopted that the year before, so there was no additional action needed from us. We have been really out and about in the community this year, which is exciting to be back post-COVID. We've participated in over 30 events this year that have been in person. And since January, so far to date this year, we've distributed over 15,000 devices. So that's shower heads, faucet aerators, dye tabs. Really, it seems like the demand never ends. At our events, we keep thinking that people won't need us as much, but we really always have people clamoring for the devices. So the need is still there. We've also been really focusing on individual presentations. I've gone out many times this year to Rotary clubs, garden clubs, California Native Plant Society meetings, et cetera, to present about drought. We've also been hosting workshops. So we've been doing workshops with Daily Acts and with our UC Master Gardeners, again, to just provide education to our customers about drought and water use efficiency. And in particular, we've done a lot of workshops recently on landscaping. And I should say those are both in English and in Spanish. We sort of alternate languages depending on the workshop. We've also been providing continued customer service and assistance to our customers. As you all know, you all voted and approved the increased cash for grass rebate. So it's now $1.50 per square foot. We also added a pool cover rebate, a pool removal rebate, and we have had program activity in both of those, which is exciting. We also just literally today approved the toilet rebate, so thank you for that. And then we continue to offer, as usual, our in-home, in-person home water smart checkups and business audits. We also offer customers an opportunity for them to do a water smart checkup on their own at home. We provide them a full kit and instructions so they can do that as well. We also continue to use our AMI system, our advanced metering infrastructure, to follow up on cases of continuous use. We also had water waste patrols this summer. They just ended at the end of September. So people our USOs, our field crews are going out there looking for leaks and breaks. As you can see, this picture on the bottom is one of those situations. And so far this year, we followed up on over 500 reports of water waste. So we're always looking for funding and opportunities to increase our budget to be able to offer more programs to our customers. So we have received several grants so far recently. So for example, we have gotten funding from the Gold Ridge Resource Conservation District for $20,000, or up to $20,000, I should say, to increase our rainwater harvesting rebate from 25 cents per gallon of water stored to 50 cents per gallon of water stored. And that's been popular. I have seen an uptick in the number of rainwater harvesting rebates that we've been issuing in the last few months as this grant funding was received from them. We also received a small scale water use efficiency grant for $75,000, and that increased our CII, our commercial industrial institutional cash for grass rebate amount to $3 per square foot. And the week that we rolled that out, all of the funding was spoken for. So there was a really exciting, huge demand for that, and we're slowly processing through those pre-inspections and then the required post-inspection. And then, as Director Burke mentioned, we were awarded in this fiscal year through the State Budget Act $1.5 million for the direct install program of water efficient appliances, which is toilets and faucet aerators and shower heads, but haven't received that funding yet. We've also submitted 2 grant applications for regional projects. These grant applications were written by the Sonoma Marin Saving Water Partnership and included Santa Rosa Water as one of the sub-grantees. So for the 2022 Water Smart Grant, we applied for, or the region applied for $2 million total, $980,000 of which Santa Rosa Water requested, and that would increase our cash for grass rebate and our high efficiency washer rebate. We also just applied for a 2023, the exact same grant, and we requested $994,000 of the $2 million total grant request from the region, and that would also go to a toilet direct install program. So the hope is that we get, this $1.5 million from the state, in addition to this $994,000 through a grant, and we create a much larger direct install toilet program. So I just wanted to provide some, exciting information about our lawn removal rebate program. We are, as you can see, from 2017 have had a huge increase in the number of square feet removed in the recent years because of the drought, it's hard to tell exactly what is increased advertising and people thinking about water use efficiency more because we're in a drought versus how much program participation is being driven by the increased rebate amount. But either way, program participation has soared over the last couple of years. And in fact, since 2007, when the Cash for Grass program was implemented, the Santa Rosa Water has incentivized over 3.9 million square feet of grass removed. So we're almost at that 4 million mark, which is really exciting. And the water savings, the corresponding water savings for that are about 1 billion gallons over the lifetime of that lawn removal project. So that's a lot of water that's being saved. We're also always continuing to perform our water smart checkups. This is when we go into a home and we offer our free devices. We, are looking for leaks, et cetera. We're also going out into the irrigation system, providing information about how to schedule the irrigation controller, for example. And really since 2018, we've held steady about between 200 and 300 checkups performed annually. Call volume continues to increase. You can see from early 2021 onward, it's been much higher than normal with peaks in the summertime. We're currently fielding between 300 and 500 calls per month, requesting water use efficiency appointments, the checkups, rebate information, or just general water use efficiency information or requests for tips and advice about water use efficiency. We also continue to work with the Sonoma Marin Saving Water Partnership, as we have for many years, to provide regionally consistent outreach. We're part of the partnership along with 12 other utilities, and we are providing, Drought is still here, save water, the tagline, for example, logos, social media campaigns, radio ads. We do coordinated events, making sure that they're advertised regionally. We do workshops together so that no matter where you are in the region, you're getting this exact same message about the drought being here and the need for conservation. So here's some examples of some of our current and winter advertising that we're doing. You can see on the top right-hand side, the turn off the irrigation to save water is actually a GIF. So that's something that we're trying that's new, where there's a little bit of emotion in the photo, just seeing if that attracts some more attention. But all of these are both in English and in Spanish. They'll be put out on social media as well as digital advertising platforms. And we're really trying to focus on indoor water savings through the dishwasher picture and the fixing the toilet picture, and then on the outdoor savings that are applicable during winter time, such as turn off your irrigation and, rainwater harvesting is valuable right now. So doing a little sneak peek of what's coming in 2023, there is uncertainty about continuing drought conditions. So you can see in the top picture with the United States in the orange color, that is a prediction from NOAA for this time next year. So October, November, December of 2023. And they're predicting currently that seasonal temperature outlook is going to be above normal for our region. But if you look at the bottom graph, there's, for the same time period, there's equal chances of above or below precipitation. So it's really uncertain exactly, which direction we're going to go. Are we going to have another year of drought? Is it still going to be dry, or are we going to get a really rainy winter? Because of this uncertainty, we are, planning for the worst and hoping for the best. We already have developed a complete year worth of marketing materials for 2023. We have a plan developed each month, mapped out, including what events we'll be attending, what workshops we'll be promoting, bill insert and the theme around that bill insert, radio ads, the bill snipe, which is the outside of the billing envelope, as well as specific marketing campaigns. So for example, in March, we're going to be doing a Fix a Leak Week campaign to encourage customers to find and fix toilet leaks specifically. We'll be co-advertising that with our new toilet rebate program. And hopefully, potentially by then we'll have our direct install program as well. So we'll really be able to hit that water savings mark. We're making sure that all of our 2023 marketing materials are scalable. So if we do get a huge rainy winter, which, fingers crossed, we could potentially pull back a little bit on that and just do our general, water conservation is important, it's here to stay kind of messaging. Or we can ramp it up if we get a really dry winter and really make sure that we're hitting all of our outreach techniques and channels to encourage people to conserve. So we're scaling it, just waiting on that uncertainty basically over the next couple of months and hoping for rain. So as usual, we're here to help our customers and encourage people to visit our Drought website and our Water Smart Resources page for any questions about water use efficiency. So I'm going to stop sharing. There we go.
Great. Thank you very much for the presentation. Are there any board member questions or comments? Board Member Walsh?
Yes, thank you, Chair Watts. I was just interested, do the grants that come in for the to reduce the water demand, do they in any way offset against the mitigation fees for the water demand offset if they weren't paid during the calculation of those fees?
No, I mean, those are separate types of programs. So the water demand offset fee would only be in place during, stage 5+ of the drought. These grants will be received, before we hopefully never get into that stage, but they're available now and would reduce our overall water usage, but aren't necessarily for that offset program.
Fantastic. I was thinking that might be the case. Plus the level of service for new construction, as far as offsetting the demand for water is a lot higher than the old construction that most of these grants would be going for, right?
Right, that's correct.
Wanted to check in. Thank you very much. That's all my questions, Chair Watts.
Thank you. Any other board member questions or comments? All right, we'll just want to thank your department for all of the work. You guys have had a very busy year and excited to see you guys out and about and really being able to make an impact with customer participation and inquiries. And just thank you for all of your work.
Thank you.
All right, so now we will open it up for public comments on item 4.2. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you are dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Secretary Manis, do we have any public comments?
There are no public comments for this item.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Well, I think we don't have to take a vote on that item. So I think that now actually adjourns the meeting. So thank you all for being here, and we will see you tomorrow for our full meeting.
Thank you.
Chair Watts.
Thank you.
Presenters. And Chris, I hope your wee one is still going great.
Yep, he's with me right